I just entitled this message to get connected. That's what I was thinking. How to get connected to Yhwh. I think that's the goal, right? That's the objective, to get connected to him and stay connected to the Most High. Um, come on. All right, cool. There we go. Yeah, get connected and stay connected. All right, let's go. Let me share my screen with you all. Again, Shabbat Shalom to all of you today on this wonderful Shabbat that Yah has graciously given to us to be able to see and to recognize his power and his strength while we're in our exile. You're gonna hear me keep laughing because it's, to me, it's kind of funny, that it's taken literally thousands of years for us to come to understand who our creator is. We haven't realized this. Even though we read the Bible prior to this, even though we've had, our experiences with religion and we've had our experiences in lives and families and whatnot, we still have not been able to fully recognize um, our creator and what the expectations are for us as his creation. Um, Yahweh is the center of everything that we do, right? I wanted to begin this lesson off by talking to us a little bit about how not to be a certain type of person, how not to be a certain type of way. I'm a little brash when it comes to expressing my thoughts. So, if you hear me say something, I'm not directly talking to you, but I am talking to the individuals that this would apply to, because it's self-evident through the scriptures that we find these ideas about, knowledge and correction. And what I found was that he who loves knowledge loves discipline, you know. And so I think that this is applicable to us because often all of you come to class because you're seeking Yah and you're seeking knowledge. The beginning of knowledge is to fear the Most High. And so the individual that loves this, that loves knowledge, is the one who loves discipline. You love to be corrected. So we're going to be corrected by the things that we read and the things that we come to understand. But he who hates correction is stupid. Um, I couldn't say that any nicer. It's just the truth. Individuals who refuse to listen and refuse to be corrected are just stupid. They're stupid people. People that don't want to learn and that want to, you know, avoid or evade correction, that's a stupid person. Just like an animal, an animal that you can take and you try to train it, like a cow or bull or, any other type of domesticated animal, to say, look, I need you to go this way or walk this way, and they don't do it, they're no use to you. So for us, what gives us our power and what gives us our discipline is that we find out through knowledge. And knowledge in Hebrew means visual observation. We not only learn from books, from reading, that's not the only way to learn. You can learn from your experiences. You learn through your life, you learn through interactions with other human beings. But the thing that gets me is that often people don't want to be corrected. They don't want to be corrected about what they're doing or what direction they're on or whatever path they're on. So they really don't have any room for knowledge. And that's a problem. That's a huge problem. Our Torah portion this week is called Waya Shave. I don't have it in English up here, but I just want to express to you what the letters mean. Okay. So the first letter is a wa, means and then the second letter is a yo, which he, and then of course our actual root letter, our three-letter root letter is called yashav, means to dwell, right? And so this idea of this week's Torah portion was basically about how um, Yaakov had traveled through, these different places, and all of a sudden now he comes to a place where he's dwelling, and he's looking for, a place to settle himself, right? And so the beginning is talking about how he got connected, how Yaakov was connected, how he has grasped and takes hold of what? He was thinking that he was going to become stable and that he was going to have security because now he's settling. He's dwelling in a land that he believed, hey, you know what? Everything is good. I've lost my wife, that happened. He also lost his other wife, which they don't mention, Leah. He lost her. He's had a lot of experiences with Shechem and Comor, and his sons had, recently just unalived a whole bunch of individuals, and he was afraid, and he was just moving around. And now he finally gets settled, and he's thinking he's going to have stability. And we find in our Torah portion this week that that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case. That he, is not going to face any more adversity. He's going to face that. So his children, which now are identified as Israel because they're his descendants, they are I would say, the conspirators, or I would say the individuals that the Most High wants us to really focus on in this in particular Torah portion, and one aspect of it. One part of Israel that you need to understand is that these sons, and I'm just taking little snippets of individuals, uh, experiences. Okay. So come now, this is what the 12 tribe or the brothers had said, let's kill him and throw him into one of these water cisterns. And then we'll say some wild animals devoured him, and we'll see then what becomes of his dreams. That was one of the things that they said. And what I wanted to point out to all of us is that Israel, especially the 12 tribes, are a group of individuals that are just a people that are wicked. I know off the cuff, it seems like that's an unfair statement, but it's not. When they talked about let's kill him, what they were talking about, everyone, was brutally beating their brother to death. When I read it in Hebrew, it really, I got taken back by it because it talked about how they were going to beat him to death, and they were going to do this with their hands. Okay, so they wanted to kill him, and the manner in which they wanted to kill him was very brutal and it was very cruel. Now we know that Shimon and Levi were cruel, but here's these other brothers that are participating. They're all gravitating towards this idea of beating their brother to death. They just didn't want to throw him in the cistern. Their intent was to beat him to death with their hands. And then they claimed that they wanted to say that some wild animal had devoured him. This idea of a wild animal is what they would call a kaya ra'ah, which is a very evil, a very wicked animal, some type of predator. So with this, the Most High is showing us that as a people, we've been very predatory, and we're predatory towards those who are saying something different than what we're understanding. For example, Joseph was known by his dreams, but his brothers didn't like the idea of what he was saying. They hated him because he was saying something that was different than what they wanted to hear. They didn't want to hear about him ruling over them. They were jealous of their brother. They hated their brother. They were putting distance with him. They couldn't speak any kind words to him because what he was saying was something different. It was something offensive, right? So they wanted to end what he was saying because they knew there was a possibility of this because his father loved him. And that's why he made them the beautiful, what they call a katonet, with as a garment, long sleeve garment that went all the way from, down to his wrists, all the way down to his ankles. And we have a misunderstanding of them saying that it's about a whole bunch of colors when it wasn't all literally different colors. It was different. Um, I would say, well, it was colors, but not blues and reds and all this kind of stuff that you would see in this religious dogma. but it was different shades of colors that had to do with wool. So there's only a couple of different colors in wool. There's your blacks, your browns, your creams. And so his father had made this for him, which was representative of the idea of him being superior. And he was his firstborn, he was superior. But the point that I'm trying to bring out right here is that he had some information that his brothers did not want to hear, and they wanted to ensure that this idea of him ruling over them was not going to happen. So they wanted to kill him, they wanted to beat him to death. They took Joseph's robe, they killed the male goat, and they dipped the robe in blood. Then they sent the long sleeve robe and brought it to their father, saying, "We found this. Do you know if it's your son's robe or not?" Now, this right here is a very deceptive practice that was still inherent to that family. As their father deceived his father, as the mother actually decorated Yaakov to make him appear to be something that he wasn't. The deception that came from Lavan on how he would say different things about, Yaakov's wages, and how he deceived Yaakov with Leah. All these things are still part of the fabric of this family. Just like the brothers last week had told that the Shechem and his father and all the men that our intentions. Put your device on mute. Thank you. So he's going to, they were going to say, "Hey, let's circumcise," and then they had a whole nother intention. So this is something that's ingrained into the fabric, or you would say the family of Yaakov. And this is something that we need to bring to our attention that the Most High is doing. These individuals were what they would call Nakar. Um, I don't have it written out here, but it's like an N, a C, and an R, which if you put it together is called Nakar. And basically, what Nakar is the idea of bringing some type of acknowledgement, right? So into some type of recognition. So when they brought that robe to their father, he recognized it and he cried, "Yeah, it's my son's robe. Some wild animal has torn Yosef in pieces and eaten him." That wild animal is really his own sons, right? So this idea of recognition has been found in our Torah this week. There's a lot of other things that were there, but this is the main one, the recognition and the acknowledgement. So they used his robe to find out whether or not his father recognized it. There was a woman in your Torah portion called Tamar. And Tamar, she recognized something as well, just like the individual that she's dealing with, which is Yehuda. What she recognized was that in order for her to obtain what Yehuda said he was going to promise her, she had to disguise herself. She had to conceal herself, and she had to pretend that she was someone else in order to achieve what she wanted to get, which was for her to become pregnant to further the family line. So she told Yehuda that, "I'm pregnant by the men whom these things belong to." And if you read your Torah, you would know that what he had given her were a signet, a cords, and a staff. And she told him to determine, "I beg you, whose these are," because when he found out that his daughter was, they said, "Your daughter-in-law has been playing like a harlot and she has prostituted herself and she's pregnant." So the backdrop on this is that she had to receive some type of evidence. And she received this evidence, which is the signet and the cords and the staff, in order to provide this evidence when they were going to kill her. So what she did was she pretended to be a prostitute, but in order for her to justify why she did what she did. Now, when Yehuda had acknowledged these, the same word that was used with the father, Jacob acknowledging what that garment is, Yehuda is now acknowledging those items, right? And he said, "She's more righteous than I am because I didn't let her become the wife of my son Shelah." And the background on this is that he made a promise to her and he did not fulfill his word. He said something to her. So what we're seeing is, number one, deception. And we're seeing the deception through what the words that we speak. We're also seeing that a person can actually do something that's deceptive, but not with the purpose of only to deceive someone, but the purpose of protection. I never found that out before until this week's Torah portion that somebody can sit there and tell you something to bring ruin and devastation to you, right? And to bring harm to you, right? So this is one of the reasons why people don't tell you the truth. Is because they're really being deceitful because they're going to harm you in some type of way. There's another deception that we see with this one woman who's now is righteous. Even in her deception, she's righteous because what she was trying to do was to protect her honor as a what they would call a widow. So those two ideas are found in your Torah portion through this acknowledgement. Now, the name of Tamar actually means to be righteous. That's what Tamar means. That's the name of the woman that's in your Torah portion. In the book of Psalms, it says the righteous will flourish like a palm tree, like Tamar. This was also in your reading this week. She's gonna she's gonna flourish like a palm tree. A palm tree is a tree that actually grows upright. Okay, and it's very strong and it's very durable and it can withstand storms. That's why you see them you see them in the islands. That's why they're always in the islands. That's why you see them in Florida. And then when the wind is blowing, they're bent in several directions and they never get broken. They actually can bend with the storm. And so the Most High is letting us know that he wants us to become like Tamar. He wants us, if you are going to do any type of concealing, it has to be for the purpose of protection. It should not be for the purpose of destruction, but for protection. So here it says, implanted in the house of Yahweh. Who? The individuals that are righteous, they will flourish in the courtyards of Elohim. This is what he's letting us know through this word tomorrow. Even in old age, they will be vigorous, still full of sap, still bearing fruit, proclaiming that Yahweh is upright. Yahweh is upright. Just like Tamar, just like a palm tree. Yah was upright. In the temple, there were always palm trees. They were all in the temple. They were on the walls. They were engraved in the walls of the temple. They were engraved in certain articles inside of the temple. So the Most High is letting us know through that in particular tree, which is representative of the woman Tamar, that the Most High is saying, I'm looking for uprightness because I'm upright. I'm needing you to be like how she was. She was insistent on doing that which is right, even though she was involved with an individual who was being dishonest with her. He wasn't telling the truth. And so we see that Yehuda, along with his brothers, they still haven't learned their lesson. And even today, the Most High is calling for us to be upright. And you and I cannot proclaim that Yahweh is upright when you and I are being unrighteous. We have to stop being dishonest. We have to stop being dishonest with ourselves. So I've given you all these examples about how the brothers were being deceitful by giving their father that garment, and they're pretending, conspiring that, hey, is this your sons? They knew it was his sons. They knew it. That's a deceitful practice. It's very evil and it's wicked. We see that Yehuda was being deceitful. He told the woman that, hey, I'm going to give you my son Shelah when he grows older, and he never did. So these are behaviors that are part of the Hebrew Israelites family. This is what they do. They lie. This is what they do, and they think when they're lying that they're going to get away with it. But the point is the Most High wants to bring us to a point of us being upright in order to proclaim that he's upright. You can't do that if you're not living the way the Most High told us. And we know that there's no wrong in him. And so that's something that you and I have to recognize. Um, Before I get into this in particular word right here, I want to spend a little bit more time talking about how we need to recognize what's going on with ourselves. Before you and I can point out something wrong with someone else, and before we can point out other people's problems and their sins and their shortcomings and their failings, we need to be able to recognize, we need to be able to nakar what's going on with ourselves. We need to recognize these things. We need to acknowledge that what we've done. And if we don't do that, the Most High is saying that you're being deceitful. And if we're being deceitful, then you and I will never obtain the righteousness that the Most High wants to give to us. Yah's righteousness is a gift, and it can be given to the individuals who are not dealing in dishonesty. So this Torah portion this week that you read is all about being honest and being transparent and being able to tell the truth, not only about what you see in others, but what you have to see in yourself. The word that I have here called zalak um, primarily talks about the success that Yosef had while he was in his exile, while he went into his slavery. Okay. This is a big thing because often as believers in the New Testament, they tell us that it's not good for a person to have money or to be successful. But the fact of the matter is that all through the biblical narratives, we find this idea of success. We find the success when Yahweh is with us, in a sense. Okay, so Yahweh was with Joseph, and he became wealthy while he was in the household of his master, the Egyptian. How does this, translate or relate to us today? The Most High says that I'll allow you to become successful. I'll allow you to do that. There's nothing wrong with success. There's nothing wrong with wealth. There's nothing wrong with prosperity. It's just how do you obtain it? Do you obtain it through righteous means or unrighteous means? How do we do this? Do we do this by oppressing the poor? Then that's a problem. Or do we do it by the work of our own hands? The Most High is not against your success. He's not against your wealth. He's not against any of those things. How do you use it? Do you use it to like I said, to oppress, or do you use it to take advantage, or do you use it to do evil with? What are you using it for? There's something the Most High wants you to know about your wealth and your success. Everyone to whom Elohim has given riches and wealth along with power to enjoy it, so that he takes his allotted portion and finds pleasure in his work. This is a gift. Prosperity is a gift from the Most High. Why? Because you've been using your hands to do it. See? And so, for he will not brood over the fact that his life is short, since Elohim keeps him occupied with that which brings him joy. Meaning that your wealth has a purpose in your life. It's only given to you so you can enjoy it, so it can distract you from the idea that you're not going to live that long. Whether it's 80 years, that's not a long time. 80 years is not a long time. We've been told 80 years is a long time. It's not a long time. It's not a long time at all. The Most High said that his people's days are going to be like the days of a tree. So your wealth is to keep you preoccupied with, the things that you enjoy to do, like, go on vacations, travel, buy stuff that you want, because at the end of the day, when you leave, you're going to leave with nothing, absolutely nothing. When my father passed this week or this last week, he wasn't able to bring anything with him. Nothing. His soul departed and he left his body and he left everything that he had and everything that he possessed and everything he worked for and everything that meant something to him. It was left here. But the only thing that wasn't left, it was himself, his true identity, who he is. Your wealth is not there to give you, I would say, an identity. Is there for you to enjoy. It's there for you to recognize that, if I put in the work, I deserve what I get. It's not there to brag on. You don't have to brag on it. What you can do is you allow other people to see it, right? Just kind of like what happened in Joseph's life. Everything that he did, his master saw what he was doing. He saw it. And so this idea of what we do is literally a reflection. And what do I mean by a reflection? A reflection is that when Joseph's master saw how Yahweh was with him and that Yahweh prospered everything he did, his master recognized, right? And it's not the same word as nakar, meaning to recognize in that sense, like to give knowledge to it, but visually he saw it. So he has knowledge of what's going on. So I asked myself, does his master really know Yahweh, or what is he seeing? He's not literally seeing Yahweh. He's seeing a reflection of Yahweh through this man, Yosef. Yosef's name means to add or to increase. So everything that this young man was doing, he was prospering. Everything that he touched, he was prospering. It was a reflection because Yah was with him. So when people see our lives and they see your wealth, you want them to see Yahweh. When they come to your home, you want them to see Yahweh. You want them to recognize that there's something different about this individual. There's something different about that home, there's something different about the way that they're talking. There's something different about them by the way they dress. There's something different about them. And then they would be able to understand that obviously they're not like everyone else. They're making a distinction. So how did this master literally see Yahweh? How did he see it? He saw it through the work of Joseph's hands. When you're at your job or you're at your business or you're at a gathering or you're at an event or a function, you have to reflect Yahweh and you have to reflect his character by being upright and being righteous and also being a person of gratitude, a person of thanksgiving, a person of gratuity, right? You're always giving, a person of understanding, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, a person that they can visually look at and ask themselves the question, who is this person? Who is she? Who is he? What are they doing? Right? Because it's always about doing. It's not necessarily about, only what we say, but it's about what we do. Right? So here, once we reflect that character, now this is the key. Once you and I start reflecting the character of the Most High, automatically you're going to be elevated. You're going to be elevated. What his master, what Joseph's master saw was something that Joseph's brothers saw too. They realized and they recognized that this brother of ours is going to be our ruler. Number one, our father loves him. Secondly, he's the firstborn. Reuben lost his right as a firstborn. So now we know that this guy is going to he's going to get a double of everything, and he's going to be our master. They recognized that, they realized that, and they didn't want that to happen. So individuals that are against you or against what you're talking about, especially when you're talking about that which you know to be true, right? Is there's trying to stop you from number one, reflecting Elohim's character, and secondly, they don't want you to elevate. They don't want you to elevate over them. So what they were trying to do is trying to kill the dream. If we could kill his dream, the dreamer, if we could kill him, we'll kill what Yahweh is doing. We can kill this idea of him ruling over us. We can kill the idea of this individual having superiority over us. And this is exactly what you and I are faced with today. No one wants to see you elevate. They want to keep you down. The nations want to keep Israel down. They don't want you to elevate. They don't want us to elevate in the idea of what we know. It's not what we believe, it's what we know. They don't want you to elevate by increasing your knowledge and your wisdom and your understanding. They don't want you to know the language. They don't want you to know the Torah. They don't want you to know your history. They don't want you to know where you came from. All they want you to do is to be satisfied for what they put in front of you because they don't want you to elevate. But when you and I are pleasing to the Most High, and the Most High is prospering us, right? And while we're having this life, it is your duty to elevate. You're not supposed to sit on the sidelines. Joseph pleased what? His master, and he served him, and his master appointed him manager of his household. He entrusted all his possessions to Joseph. When it talks about his master appointing him to do this, what it means is as his master pretty much let go of everything and put everything into his hands. Everything is in his hands now. He's appointed for this position. He's consistent in his delivery of what he's doing. He's very stable. It talks about why you shave, meaning, and he grasped or he was appointed or he dwelt. Every time you talk about someone dwelling, Yaakov dwelt in the land he was dwelling. Yehuda went and left his family. He dwelt in a certain land and he married a Canaanite woman. Here, Yosef, he was appointed to be brought into his slavery. He was appointed for this. He was appointed because the Most High chose him out of all of his family to be the one that's going to go into slavery. For what? For the benefit of the whole entire family. There always has to be somebody in a family the Most High chooses. He chooses somebody out of each family to be a representative, to guide and to instruct and to encourage, to bring people to the place where they need to be. If Yahweh is not providing these appointees, then Yah would not care about the family. He does. He cares about the mishpachah. So how does this relate to you and I? How does this uh, fit into our lives? The Most High has designated you and I to be representatives of our families. That's what he's called you to do. You are the Joseph of your family, you see? So, and why is that? Because you are superior. Your family knows it. They've always known it, and they hate you for it. Now, they might say might not come out and publicly and tell you that they hate you, because, they don't want to say it and they don't want to appear to be evil. But the fact of the matter is, hatred doesn't mean just saying anything. It actually means to do. It means that you're making some type of separation between yourself and something else that you believe that will cause harm to you, right? So you're the Joseph of your family. You're the one the Most High chose. You're the one who's been appointed. You're the one who's spiritually superior. You're the one that the Most High is called. Okay. And not only that you could be one Joseph in the family, there could be others. Is the idea behind it. Joseph was not only a dreamer, he was a doer. This is my quote. This wasn't in your Torah. This is my quote. He wasn't just a dreamer, everyone. And you could look at this many different ways. He wasn't only a dreamer. It's not, don't just be a dreamer, be a doer. He wasn't about just dreaming things. He was about doing while he's in his exile. While he was a slave, he was still a doer. He didn't let his slavery discourage him from being the person that he is. His superiority did not stop when he went into slavery. This is a picture of what needs to happen for the children of Israel, why we're in our exile, why we're in our slavery. You and I need to understand that we can dream all we want to. You can find out all the prophecies that you want to, but if you don't take action and you don't get engaged and you don't get involved and you don't get to making things happen, then it's not going to happen for you. You can dream all you want to. It's about us being a doer. That's what we want to be. We want to be a doer. The reason why we want to be a doer is because of this word in Hebrew called bayado. And bayado basically means his hand. His hand. Everything is connected to the hand, right? So we're thinking it's just our words. No, it's not just your words. Well, it's our actions. Yes, it is your actions, but it's by your hand. The Most High specifically talks about what we do with our hands. There's something about our hands, the reason why he made them, the reason why he uses them to praise him, the reason why he uses them for us to do our work, the reason why he uses in the Torah and the prophets to say, don't move your hand against someone. Okay. What happened? What about their hands? Number one, what did Judah do? Judah said that he was going to give his son. And the way he was going to give his son was by his hand to his daughter-in-law, but he never did. So what did she do? She took out of his hand those items to secure the promise that he had made about him paying her, but he never did. Okay. What do we find in the hand? We find that the brothers had in their hand Joseph's garment that they presented as evidence to their father in their hand. You also see that his brothers took Joseph in their hands and they put him down into the pit. You see that they wanted to use their hands to beat him to death. You see in their hands the woman who Joseph's master's wife, she wanted to lay down with him and she couldn't get to him physically. So what she did was she took his garment off of him and she laid it by her side that she took in her hand and she presented it as evidence. Okay. So it's the work that we do by our hands. Okay. But Yado, again, has to do with the idea to conspire. Okay. Is to conspire. That means to do something that's unlawful. That means to do something that's unlawful and that's very harmful, right? So conspiracy is found what you can do with your hand. Not only the idea of to conspire, but also deceit can be found in the hand that we just talked about. Deceit is part of it. Ultimately, what you do with your hand is your evidence. And that's what the Most High is trying to tell us. Is what we do with our hands. It's our actions that we take. It's what we take hold of. That's your evidence that you're going to have to present, like Tamar presented to Yehuda before they wanted to unalive her and put her to death and burn her to death because he believed that she was a prostitute. She wasn't a prostitute. She disguised herself as a prostitute. She concealed herself in order to obtain what she wanted because she knew that this man wasn't going to be righteous with her. So she outwitted him and she was more righteous than him. But she needed evidence. And that's what we're trying to demonstrate here is if you and I do not have any evidence to prove that we're righteous, then you're going to be unalived. That's what the Most High is showing us through this teaching, especially in chapter number 30 with Tamar, when they said, well, she was a prostitute. A prostitute is someone who goes outside of a marriage covenant, which is indicative of idolatry. The children of Israel are in a relationship with the Most High. And what he has done is he's taken us by the hand, he's introduced himself to us, and he's revealed himself to us. And now you and I have been playing the harlot. Okay. So first we were acting like we're not the harlot. So when our people got with the Most High, they lied to him and they act like they weren't whores. But I don't have any videos or excuse me slides for it. But we've gone over this. How they said they'd broken the covenant. How he said if you're going to judge them, tell them this. Tell them their history. Our history is one that's spotted and that has clear evidence that we have rebelled against the Most High. Clear evidence that we have been involved in idolatry. Ever since we were in Egypt, even before we went into Egypt, we were always involved in idolatry. So what is going on is he's telling us through the story of Tamar that if you are found to be a prostitute and it's brought to my attention, you're going to have to provide evidence of your righteousness. Otherwise, your deceit is not going to work. You see? So she was being deceitful and concealing it, but it was for the idea of protection. To do what? To protect herself. See? So you and I have to find the evidence. We're going to have it when we go to the Most High. But stupid people can't know. They don't know this. And fools don't understand what we're talking about. A stupid person and a fool is a person who covers their mind. They don't want to hear it. Instead of them being transparent and being open-minded, they're closed-minded. And so what they do is they close their mind and say, I heard what you said, but I don't want to deal with it. So they cover their minds so they don't have to learn, because this is how we get to our creator, is through learning, is through experience, the shepherd staff, right? And so that when the wicked sprout like grass, all who do evil prosper. Okay. Stupid people don't know this, and fools don't understand it. That when the wicked sprout like grass and all who do evil prosper, it is so that they can be eternally destroyed while you, Yahweh, are exalted forever. Meaning, again, I kind of made the word do a little bit larger than everything else because it has to do what we're doing with our hands. People are doing evil and they are prospering. Remember, I told you it's okay to prosper. It's about how do you prosper? What are you doing? Okay. Stupid people are doing evil. Fools are doing evil. Okay. And they're wicked. And basically what that means is that they're not on the righteous path. That's all that means. But they're going to be destroyed. And you and I are not the ones that's supposed to be being destroyed. And it says eternally destroyed. So what does that mean, Akika? What does it mean to be eternally destroyed? It means that you will never, ever be remembered. There will never, ever be any remembrance of you, ever. Why? Because you chose to be wicked and you chose to do evil. What's doing evil? What is doing evil? Is it wearing a devil costume? What is it? Is it just, killing people? I don't kill anybody, so I'm not doing evil. What is it? It's how we live our life. If your life is not in alignment with righteousness and what the creator of the heavens and the earth has determined, then you're doing evil. And even while you're doing that, you might still even prosper, but you're going to be destroyed. And stupid people can't know this, and fools don't understand because they're not taking the time to learn about the Most High. The Most High is going to be exalted forever. So no matter who's prospering, doesn't matter. The wicked are going to prosper around us. Just like the children of Israel, when they did that, when they sent their brother they sold him as a slave, they thought it was all well and done, that they would never have to deal with this. And we're going to find out next week that this is not true. We're going to have to deal with our past. That's what the Most High is talking about. We're going to have to recognize who we are as a people. We're going to have to fess up and say what we've done, because Yahweh is going to be exalted, and he's going to be exalted through righteousness. The problem is ignorance. That's the problem. And if you look at the word ignorance, there's a word in the word ignorance called to ignore. Okay, that's why you call someone ignorant. Like, you're ignorant. You don't know. Well, no, you're ignoring. You're ignoring. You do know what it is, but you're still ignoring the truth. You're ignoring the fact of who you are and what you've done. Here's what Yahweh says, which you'll find in your Haftarah, because it's always a connection between your Haftarah and your Torah, which gives you these two stories to kind of let you know what's going on. And how you can understand the Torah better is by looking at what the prophets have spoken. Okay. So this in particular prophet, he's saying, this is what Yahweh says, Yehuda, for Yehuda's three crimes, no, four, I will not reverse it, because they rejected Yahweh's Torah and haven't observed his laws, and their lies caused them to fall into error and live the way that their ancestors did. I will send fire on Yehuda, and it will consume the palaces of Yerushalayim. Why is this important? Why did I take this verse? Because in this verse, you will find out that the Most High is telling the children of Israel through this family, Yehuda, like you saw in your Torah portion, he lied. He lied to Tamar. You saw that he lied to his father. You saw that the brothers lied. We saw that they're rejecting the instructions. We see this. We saw this in Yehuda's sons, Er and Onan. When they were supposed to follow the instructions of their father, they didn't. And the Most High rejected them, and he unalived them. He killed them because he didn't like what they were doing. The Most High is telling us this is not something that's new. This is something that continues to go on through the family. So when you see problems in your life, and you see problems in your children's life, and you see problems in your parents' life, all that is migrating down each family. These things are going to have to be dealt with. See? Even Joseph, he had problems. He wasn't perfect. I want to make that clear. He was a dreamer, and he prophesied through the dream of what their end was going to be, but he had his own problems. You know, he was a tattletale. You know, he was arrogant. He was all those things. Even though he had the superiority, the spiritual superiority, even though he was a learned young man, and he was sitting under his father's tutelage, he still had his issues. The fact of the matter is, everyone, is that these lies and these errors and all this stuff has never changed. That's the reason why we're not in our land, even to this day. This is the reason why the Most High has consumed and burnt down the palaces of Yehuda and Jerusalem. It's because of their lies. And it's because they rejected the Most High's Torah. Fire and judgment is always associated with us rejecting the Most High's laws. You know, I read through the Psalms this week. It was talking about, how long are you going to be angry with us? Is your anger going to burn against us forever? They kept saying the same thing over and over and over and over again. The Most High is angry with his people. He's not excited about what we've done. What we've done is we've committed crimes. Just like the brothers committed crimes in the book of Genesis, they're committing crimes in the book of Amos. Same identical thing. This is what Yahweh says. Israel's three crimes, no, four. I will not reverse it, because they sell the upright for silver. Where does that remind you of? They sold their brother. They're doing the same stuff that they've done. They sold their brother for 20 pieces of silver. Now they're selling the upright. Still doing the same crimes. And a poor for a pair of shoes. Where did he get this from? Grinding the heads of the poor in the dust, pushing the lowly out of the way. Father and son sleep with the same girl, profaning the name, my holy name, lying down beside any altar on clothes, and take pledge, and drinking wine in the house of their Elohim, bought with fines they imposed. These are some wicked, evil people. Those are our ancestors. And all the stuff that they have done has been migrating down generation and generation and generation. Yah says, I'm not going to reverse it. I'm going to destroy them. So the Most High burnt up the palaces of Yehuda. The Most High destroyed the cities of Yehuda. The Most High destroyed Jerusalem. The Most High has destroyed the nation of Israel, the 10 northern tribes. He destroyed them too. because they're doing the same stuff over and over again. I mentioned earlier about being appointed. This is the mandate. This is the mandate for those who are not stupid. This is the man for those who are not fools, the ones who want to learn. You have been appointed. You have been appointed. It says, listen, it says, listen to this word which Yahweh has spoken against you, people of Israel, against the entire family that I brought up from the land of Egypt. Of all the families on earth, only you have I intimately known. This is why I will punish you for all your crimes. You're the only family out of all the families on the entire earth that Yah knows. When he says intimately knows, that means that he's had a relationship with you and I. We have come to know him. He's introduced himself to us. He's introduced his laws to us. He told us what the requirements are. He's been merciful to us. He's been compassionate on us. He's given us land. He's given us descendants. He's given us so much. But you're going to be punished for your crimes. That's because I know you. You're the only one I know. You're the only ones I know because you're the only ones that I've appointed. A lot of us don't want this appointment. How many appointments do you have, Akika? Well, today is the Shabbat. It's an appointment. This is when the Most High wants to meet with us on every Shabbat to say it's time for you to rest and for your body to vibrate at a different frequency. When you're during the week, your body's vibrating at a different frequency that's being recorded. Okay? You are the people that have been appointed. What do you mean? You're supposed to show up to your appointments, the Sabbaths and the set apart times that I told you. You've been appointed to eat a certain diet. People don't like that. You have been appointed to live a certain way. People don't like that. You've been appointed to be the ones who's supposed to execute righteousness and justice. People don't like that. You're the ones that everyone's going to hate. People don't like that. They don't like that. Do two people travel together with having so agreed? When I read this, I thought, well, surely we made an agreement. But that word agreed is not what the word in Hebrew is. That word there is called appointed. You have been designated. That's what you don't know. You've been designated by the creator of the heavens and the earth because we're the only family that he knows, the only one that he wanted to know. He could have chose any other family, but he didn't. He chose our family. He could have chose anyone else in your family, but he didn't. He chose you. And some of us have a problem with that. And because we have a problem with that, that means that we're going to want to kill our brother. Well, we're not going to throw him into the pit, Akika. We don't have a pit. We're not talking about beating him to death like our brothers did, like they wanted to do. We're just going to, we're just going to isolate them. We're not going to talk to them. We're not going to have a relationship with them. We're going to kill them in a different way. We're going to beat them to death in a different way. We're not going to call and see how they're doing. We're not going to care about anything they're talking about. We're going to avoid them. We're going to do everything we can, just like our ancestors did, how they hated their brother Joseph and they avoided him and they were jealous of him. We're going to do the same identical thing because it's been passed on from generation to generation. What's the problem? The Most High is telling us that, listen, I have appointed you. You and I are supposed to travel together. We're supposed to travel together. How do you travel with somebody that you ain't made no appointment with? How do you walk with somebody that you haven't been designated to walk with? Do you get this? The creator of the heavens and earth says, I have chosen you to walk with me. I've chosen you and appointed you to learn from me. I chose you so you wouldn't be unalive and you wouldn't be destroyed eternally. Yahweh is the cause of everything. Why? Because Yahweh Elohim does nothing without revealing his plan to his servants, the prophets. Yahweh is not going to make anything known. He's not going to bring recognition to anything without first telling us about what his plans are. Yah has already revealed to us what his plan is. This is not going to be a peekaboo moment where you don't know what Yah is going to do. Yah has not, I would say, deceived us. Yah has not spoken like Yehuda and said, I promised to do something and never followed through. Yah is not the one who turned around and brought a garment and said, is this belong to your son? Yah's not like that whore of a wife of Potiphar that sat there and lied against Joseph and said he tried to sleep with me. No, our Elohim, whatever he tells us and whatever he reveals to us is so you and I can get ready. So what has he revealed to us? What has he made known? What has he nakar? What does he want to bring recognition to? The sign. What sign did Joseph's father see in order for him to believe? Oh, he saw the garment. What sign did Potiphar's wife provide as evidence that this man was guilty? Oh, that's right, his garment. What sign did Tamar provide to Yehuda to prove that she was innocent? That's right, the three things: his cord, his signet, and his ring and his staff. See, there always has to be evidence of proof and that something's true. So the Most High has given us his sign, and his sign is his name. The Most High has revealed his name to us while we're in our exile. And he's given you his name so you can go back and look up his name, and you can look at all the stuff that he's done. And you can look at the signs and the wonders that he's performed with his name. He hasn't given you any other name. His name is mentioned 6,828 times in the Tanakh, which is the Torah, the prophets, and the writings. His name is mentioned 0 times in the New Testament. The sign that Yahweh promised to come and get you is the fact that he's revealed his name. Because what his name is deliverance, what his name is salvation, what his name is a history that tells us that you guys were slaves and I brought you out of your slavery. You see? So the Most High is going to reveal his name. He's going to tell you what his plan is. Just like it says in the book of Psalms, he said, but he sent a man ahead of them, Joseph, who was sold as a slave. Do you not know that Joseph was the first Hebrew slave? He's the first Hebrew to ever go into slavery. They shackled his feet with chains and they bound him in irons until the time when his word proved true. Elohim's utterance kept testing him. See? So while he's in his slavery, the Most High is testing him in order for him to be proven if he was going to be worthy of the elevation. Why did the Most High send you and I into exile? So you can be tested until Yah's word be proven true. He's not going to tell you anything that he's not going to do. I'm going to tell it to you. I'm going to make it clear to you. I'm going to give you all the information you need. But if you're stupid and you don't want to learn and you cover your mind from any type of knowledge and wisdom and understanding, then you'll never know. You'll never know, and you're going to be eternally destroyed. So this time of us being in exile, this time of us being in our slavery is a time for us to be tested, to be proven, to be examined, to see whether or not. because Yah wants us to know that he's completely aware of who we are. It wasn't Joseph's brothers that sent him into slavery. It was Yahweh. It was Yahweh. It wasn't the white man that sent you into slavery, people. It wasn't the Europeans. It wasn't the Dutch. It wasn't those people. It was us. You understand? According to what the Most High said. The Most High said, if you don't do what I'm telling you, you're going into slavery. We're the ones who initiated it by rebelling against the Most High. But this is the Most High's work. So enjoy your wealth, enjoy your travels, enjoy all of that. He wants us to. He wants you to enjoy your prosperity. But understand that your elevation is not for you. Your elevation is for the Most High. Your elevation is for you to be able to reflect Yah's character. That's what it's for. Yahweh wants to be connected to you. Just like Yaakov got connected and he thought he was stable and he was secure, Yahweh wants to be connected to you. Why Yeshav not only means for you to be dwelling somewhere, because the Most High is our dwelling. He's been our dwelling place from eternity past to eternity future. Yah has been our dwelling place. Yah wants to be connected to you. That's what that Wah right there is. And he. And guess what? Yahweh wants you to take hold of him with what? That Yod right there, which is your hand. I want you to take hold of me. Yeah, I've been connected to you and I've taken hold of you and brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim. Now it's your turn. And you and I haven't been told this. We've been told that the God is going to take hold of us and he's going to carry us the whole way. Our Elohim is not going to carry anybody who don't want to be carried. Yah's not going to take hold of somebody who don't want to take hold of him. You have to take hold of the Most High. It's your responsibility. You have to keep your word. And you have to not deal in deceit. Don't conspire against your brother. The Torah tells us that we shouldn't even hold a grudge. It's against the law to even hold a grudge against any of your people. That's your mother, your father, your aunties, your cousins, your brother, your sister, your wife, your friend, your neighbor, a stranger. Doesn't matter. That's against Yah's law to hold a grudge. Do you want him to prove that he's Elohim by rejecting you because you reject the Torah? You reject the instructions to follow the way that he said to live? Take hold of the Most High. Because only in the Most High are you going to find stability and you're going to find your salvation. That salvation is not that you won't die. You will. He told us that you're going to pass away. You're going to leave like everyone else who leaves this earth. And you're going to transition. You're a transient creature. You're leaving this earth. And you're going to get out of here. Whenever he decides that it's your time to leave, you're leaving. And there's nothing anybody can do to stop it. Just like there was nothing that the children of Israel could do anything to stop Yahweh's progress with Joseph. And Yah sent him into slavery in order to benefit the whole entire family of Israel, which we're going to find out next week. Yah is your stability. If you want stability for your life, it's for you. Is he guaranteeing there's going to be stability in your family? No. Is he guaranteeing that there's going to be salvation for your whole entire family? No. There's only going to be stability and salvation for those who take hold of Yah. Because every soul belongs to me, both the parent and the child. Whoever takes hold of me is the one who takes hold of me. He told us to take hold of his Sabbaths. He said if a foreigner and stranger said, well, I'm not Yahweh's people, so he's going to reject me. He says, no, you take hold of my covenant with your hand. And you do what I said. That's taking hold. You keep my Shabbat, keeping your hand from doing any evil. Don't lift your hand up on my Shabbat. Anyone who lifts their hand up on my Shabbat, the law is that you're going to be put to death. Period. And that's what it is. Now, there is those cases where individuals have jobs and they're forced to have to go to work. Their intent is to say, if I didn't have to go here, I'll be keeping the Shabbat. If that's legitimate and you're being wholehearted with the Most High, He understands that. That's guaranteed. I can show you scripture to tell you you might have the best intention. Most High said, I love the intent. I'll forgive him because he's merciful. He's compassionate. So when I talk about the Most High unaliving you and offing you and exterminating you, it's not because he wants to. It's because he has to. It's not because he wants to. He has to. This is law. He can't bend. He doesn't take bribes. He doesn't change how he feels about his laws because you feel like you can't do it, or you refuse to do it, or you reject what he says. It's not contingent upon that. The laws of Yah are not based on how we feel. It's based on what he said, and what he says is established forever. So we have to fall in line with that. You see? So we want to get connected to the Most High. We want to take hold of him. We want to stay connected to the Most High because you can be connected and then you can be disconnected. But that's all on you. It's all on what you do. You can decide today you don't want to be righteous anymore. And you can walk away from the Most High. And he wouldn't take any pleasure in your death. He said, I don't have any pleasure in the death of the wicked. If you turn from your righteousness, nothing that you've done that has been righteous up to this point will ever be remembered. It will never be discussed because one act of wickedness can wipe away all of your righteousness. Just on the other side of that, one act of righteousness can wipe away all of your wickedness. But you can't keep vacillating between the two opinions. You either walk with the Most High or you don't. You either choose this way of life or you don't. You either take hold of him or you don't. It's up to you. If you want to deceive and act like you have verbally, then that's one thing. Well, the Most High is not looking for verbal, he's looking for action. I want your words to be your actions. So that's why they have to be honest, because we want to create this idea of harmony in our relationship with the Most High and with others. We have to study. Your upcoming Torah portion for this week is found in the book of Genesis, chapter number 41, verse number 1 through 44, verse number 17. Known as Bereshit. The word Bereshit means in a beginning. That's what it means. Okay. So like our history that we went over this week, that was a beginning of our problems for the sons of Israel. Right. So all the other times we've heard about Jacob's problems, we heard about some of the challenges. There were Abraham and Isaac, and our mothers and Sarah and all this. Now we're finding out what these sons are doing. Now he's dealing with these sons. He's dealing with their personalities, and he's dealing with their deceit and what's ingrained into this family. This family needs to be dealt with. And the way that it's dealt with is not, I'm going to deal with the whole entire family as a whole. I'm dealing with individuals that are of that family. I'm giving you an opportunity to make things right with me as individuals. Because I have judged the whole entire family. That's why I sent you all into exile. But again, to verify Yah's word, he says that the fathers cannot pay for the sons of the sins of the parents, and the parents can't pay for the sins of the children. So it's your responsibility. It's your job to study. Okay, they have this word called haftarah. That is an additional reading that's found in the book of Kings, chapter number 3, verse number 15 to chapter number 4, verse number 1, which will coincide with your readings in Genesis that we have right there. They go together. There's a theme that can be found in this in particular book when you read it, so you can get more understanding of what the Most High is saying. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that he says, but it's only the things that he wants to bring to our attention. Like this week, it was like bring to your attention. There you go, Nakar. Recognize, acknowledge that you have problems, and that you got to recognize that you guys have been deceitful. This is the reason why you're in exile. You got to recognize that you didn't want to walk with me. You got to recognize that you said you were going to walk with me, that you didn't. You got to recognize with me that you have been you've been acting like you were righteous, but really you're a whore. For just the opposite of Tamar. She pretended to be a whore, but she was righteous. So he's saying, switch up. Okay. Don't be idolatrous anymore. Don't pretend anymore to be righteous and you're not. Be righteous. To bring about a righteous means. Do whatever it takes, like Tamar did. Fight for what you know is right. That's what he's saying. You see? You can give all the talk you want to, like Reuven and Yehuda. Well, let's don't kill him. I'll come and get him later. He said something, but he didn't take any action. He didn't do anything with his hands, did he? And he came back and he had a lot of regret. Oh, well, he's not here. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Yehuda, he's bright. Well, let's just sell him. Let's not have no blood on our hands. He thought that I was right, but he lost two of his sons. See, Psalms, what they call Tehillim, meaning praise, meaning to enlightened. So chapter numbers 104 to 134 is your reading. Read a little bit every day. Okay. Shabbat shalom to each and every last one of you. I want you to understand. I want you to know. I want you to recognize that ignorance is not going to be the excuse. Not for us. This is our last slavery. I want to make that clear. This is the last one. There ain't no nothing after this. If you don't get it right now and you're not listening and you don't want to make any adjustments and any changes because you're stuck on what you're doing, because you believe that your words are going to be appropriate, they're going to be enough, that's going to be a problem for you. It's not going to be a problem for anyone else. It's going to be for you. So you have to take charge. You got to take hold of the Most High yourself. This is a personal responsibility. And again, don't feel bad about being wealthy, because I'm not. When I read that he said that he became wealthy while he was in his master's house. While you're in your exile, you can become very wealthy. While you're in your slavery, you can. Period. And don't feel bad about that. Enjoy it, because your life is short. So enjoy it and have fun. Most High gives you power to get it, and He gives you the power to enjoy it. That's what it is. Okay. Yahweh.